what are some reasons why non-natural cleaners can be harmful to our health? So, a lot of conventional cleaners contain harsh chemicals, ammonia, chlorine, formaldehyde, or forever chemicals, which we're going to talk a lot about tonight. So, forever chemicals are microplastics that, when inhaled or absorbed through the skin or even taken in through the mouth, can create a variety of different issues. And so we also can talk about respiratory issues. The fumes from synthetic cleaning products can trigger asthma, allergies, respiratory problems, but they could also enter the system that way. So if you have a very strong respiratory system and you're like, well, I don't have allergies and asthma and my respiratory system's fine, that doesn't mean that these chemicals can't go into your body through your lungs and affect you in some other way and somewhere else that is a weaker system in your body. Also, hormone disruption. You don't know how many women come to me and tell me, I think my hormones are out of balance, or I know my hormones are out of balance. And they might even be trying to eat healthier or incorporate healthier foods. They might be trying to, look at different ingredients. They're trying to exercise and get things going in a positive direction. Meanwhile, they're washing the floor or the windows with cleaning products. They're putting their hand in that bucket or they're putting their hand on that rag. And that is all those cleaning products that have hormone disruptors are being absorbed through the skin. So cleaning products can also cause skin irritation. So you can see that immediately right on the skin, on the hand, right? But another thing is these things can go into our system and cause problems even in other areas because they went into our body. So it doesn't always cause the problem right here. It can be a toxic overload, and you could end up with rashes or skin issues other places too. So, and then of course, an increased cancer risk. The more chemicals we put in our body, on our body, around our body, breathe in, ingest, the greater our risk of cancer will be. So many synthetic cleaners even contain corrosive substances that can be very dangerous, deadly if swallowed, making them a risk for children and for pets. Of course, these products can cause a lot of women, and some men will tell me about headache problems. People will talk about dizziness. These strong artificial fragrances can create headaches. And people might be having like Glade plugins or other things that are in and around the home on a daily basis. And the headaches come and go. So they don't attribute it to it because it's something that's been in their house for a long time. And so they don't realize that their body could get to a point where it can't take it anymore. Maybe it could take it before, not that it was good for it then, but it was tolerating it. And the body gets to a point where it is on overload, and that's when they really start having the problems. So, it'll weaken our immune system. People are more prone to getting sick. They also are having more and more allergies. And so the body, when it has a weakened immune system, it might not recognize these synthetic products and give an allergic reaction exactly when that is used, but it might trigger. Maybe the body wasn't too fond of, let's say, strawberries. Okay. When I was a kid, I knew a little girl who was allergic to strawberries. Let's say that a person's body isn't too fond of strawberries and has trouble dealing with them, but it really doesn't exhibit an external problem. It kind of makes it through. Now you add a bunch of chemicals to the system in a variety of different ways, and the body is on overload. Now you add those strawberries or whatever it is that the body struggles with, and then you have a problem. Okay. So also, these things, they don't clean our air. They don't, things that you spray to get rid of smells in the air that are synthetic, these synthetic products that do that, they mask the problem, but they're polluting your air quality. They're not cleaning it, they're polluting it. So, and these things, when they get in the water supply, you dump that bucket down the drain. These things get in the water supply and they are very harmful, not just to you and your family, but wildlife, the environment. It creates, adds to, I should say, the environmental pollution and creates a human health issue for everyone. So research has linked PFAS, these forever chemicals, these micro particles that are everywhere, to elevated cholesterol. How many people have told you, well, the doctor told me my cholesterol's high. Now we can talk about cholesterol, and in fact, I will stop and visit that for a minute. There are basic tests that the doctors normally do on cholesterol. And those numbers can come back out of balance or appearing to be out of balance according to today's standards. Okay. And those standards are much different than they were 40 years ago. They have lowered those levels. And so they're saying, well, they lowered them because they found that people still have heart attacks at those lower levels. Well, if they're to be totally transparent with you, they will tell you that even someone with completely normal cholesterol levels can have cardiovascular issues, okay? Because it's not the cholesterol level that creates the problem, right? We need to have cholesterol for healthy cognitive function. Okay. Now, there are certain cholesterol levels that if they do more extensive tests, they might be a little out of balance. And if that's the case, and if you're concerned about your cholesterol levels, it's not about taking a medication and forcing the numbers, because having the numbers look good will not change your risk of cardiovascular events. What will is a healthy diet and removing the toxins from your home. Okay. So, and they did also find, and it's very important to mention, that people who have low cholesterol levels are more likely to have cognitive issues later in life. So low cholesterol is not the ticket people think it is. So PFAS, forever chemicals, also reduce the immune response. So people fall prey to whatever bacteria or virus comes along more easily. It can negatively affect liver enzymes. So if your liver enzymes are high when you go for your blood work or whatever, it could be from forever chemicals. Forever chemicals affect thyroid function. It can create high pregnancy-related high blood pressure, low birth weight for babies, kidney cancer, testicular cancer, really any type of cancer, honestly. Okay. And they have found forever chemicals when they did autopsies in the brain, in the heart, and also in the umbilical cords of babies when they were born. So these forever chemicals are getting everywhere. Okay. So, ways to reduce exposure to these forever chemicals. Drink filtered water. Now, don't go out and run and get a Brita water filter, because it's not going to really help you very much. Brita water filters, those little water filters like that go in the fridge, they filter out a little bit, but they don't filter out all the things that you're looking to filter out. So they're really a waste of money, because after using them, you still need to filter your water again. Okay. On my website, there's a recommendation for a carbon filter, and you can take a look at that, which is a tabletop water filter. There's other options too. So go ahead and take a look at that, and then, shop around, see what you feel. The one I put up there is on the affordable level. So, but do some homework in that area and take a look around. So replace your plastic food containers with glass containers and jars. So when you go and you take your food out of the pan after dinner and you put it in the fridge, don't reuse those food containers that from takeout or from whatever other products or that you bought that are Rubbermaid. I don't want to pick on Rubbermaid, but any of those type of plastic containers. don't and keep your food in there, and certainly do not heat anything in there because the micro particles will get into your food. Okay, so we don't want to store and we certainly don't want to cook in those plastic containers. We want to avoid the grease resistant food wrappers. So you look at the wrapper that you got something fast food in. Well, maybe you were traveling or something. Hopefully, you're not doing it on a regular basis. And you say, oh, it's a paper wrapper. Well, how come the grease didn't leak through that paper wrapper? And that's because there was a grease resistant film that basically is plastic. And so the nice paper wrapper, but the plastic was against your food. So that creates a problem right there. And that's another way of getting these forever chemicals. Um, when you vacuum, make sure your vacuum has a HEPA filter to reduce the dust particles. Those dust particles aren't just like the natural dust that you're thinking of, like from when, you were a child or whatever. These are micro particles that it can even be in the air, okay? Also, avoid stain resistant treatment on fabrics and carpets and whatnot. It's basically a PFAS coating on your furniture and your carpets that when you sit or your children or grandchildren or pets are laying on the floor, they are getting exposed to these forever chemicals right there. So remember, you don't have to replace everything all at once. Okay. Start with things you use every day as you use them up. All right. Um, as you, the things that you heat food in, okay, make sure that it's glass, make sure that it's stainless steel or cast iron. So those things, because they are directly going right into your food. Things that you eat or drink from, make sure that you're avoiding drinking from plastic and that you're drinking from a glass bottle or a stainless steel bottle, and you're changing in those ways. And then be aware of the air you breathe. Don't be spraying chemicals into the air. So small changes repeated over and over can make a meaningful difference. But I like to mention that don't get a skewed sense of security with that, because sometimes people make one little change and they think that that's going to impact everything. And when it doesn't, they become disillusioned and don't want to continue that change anymore. Little changes will make little differences repeated over time, and all those little differences together will make big differences. So don't expect little differences to turn into big differences magically. We need to, we can start small, we can start big, however you want to go. I would say start soon and start fast with the things that you use every single day as you use them up. Now, those plastic containers that most everybody has, they've been using for years, and they're like, oh my gosh, I have such a collection. I hate to get rid of them. I paid for them. Take them out to the shed, the garage, the basement, wherever you store little things. Put your sewing things in there. Put your extra, your thumbtacks. Put your hair ties in them. Use them for catch-all things that, small things under the sink, your extra sponges. In fact, switch your sponges out, because that's another way of getting forever chemicals. It's better to use a cotton cloth. But these things that are small and around the house and they need a place to be, as opposed to going buying cute little containers, use those food containers instead of throwing them out. Give them another life. So things we can switch out easily. So our dish soap. So we can switch our dish soap out for the Abode dish soap, which is absolutely wonderful. It smells great. And I'm also going to be giving recipes for things to make your own. Okay. And this is a two-part class. So we'll be doing a lot of the recipes next week. So we'll just start into that today. Okay. Cleaning spray. There's the Abode, which is absolutely wonderful. And so it comes in a little bottle. It's like a 1 ounce bottle. And I divide that 1 ounce bottle. I think that the directions are to pour that right into a quart bottle. And I guess you could, if you were cleaning something that was really, really grimy, but like, I don't know, maybe something in the garage or whatever. But for the most part, I take that abode bottle and I use about a third to a fourth of it in a spray bottle. And so that abode little cleaning 1 ounce thing lasts me quite some time. Really, absolutely wonderful. Smells amazing. I use it for kitchen countertops, kitchen floor, bathroom, absolutely. Wherever you need a cleaning spray, I use it. Another one is the On Guard cleaner, which I still keep that around. Um, now they're both really good for germs. They're both anti-germ. I'm used to relying on Guard for germy situations, so I still keep that around. But the Abode is also great for germy situations. They're both great. The On Guard comes in a bottle about this big, it's about this big, and that is great to add to some water and to just put that in the spray. You can put it right into your mop bucket and just clean away. Abrasive cleaner. So I have a recipe for an abrasive cleaner, but you can take some baking soda and a little bit of lemongrass essential oil and put that in a little container and use that to scrub your bathtub or your sink in your kitchen. Really, really wonderful homemade cleaner. Tub and tile cleaner, just use your abode. If you need to use your lemongrass abrasive cleaner there, go right ahead. Floor cleaner. Abode is really great for floors. The On Guard, of course, mop bucket too. Toilet cleaner, On Guard. I'll actually take if I'm really in a hurry, I'll take the On Guard hand soap that's on the side of the sink to wash your hands with, and I'll put 2 squirts in there into the toilet and use the toilet brush for a really quick clean and keep right on going and don't even pull anything to clean out, mold and mildew. Tea tree spray. Oh my gosh. Tea tree is amazing for mold and mildew. If you see a little something in the corner, you want to nip it in the bud before it, creates a problem. Laundry soap. The On Guard laundry soap is great. The Abode little pods are wonderful. And we also have the Abode dishwasher pods are really good. But I have a laundry soap recipe. So if you're concerned that the On Guard or the Abode is a little higher on budget, I use points. You get points when you have your monthly order. I use points for the Abode and the On Guard cleaners, and that's really great. So I'm basically getting it for free. A lot of things like that, I'll just use points and get it for free. Um, but I have a recipe that you'll be getting next week at class for making your own laundry soap. It makes a lot. It goes a long way. Uh, for what, less than $15, you're going to have enough for the year, and have some of the ingredients will be even left over for next year's laundry. So, of course, depending on the size of your family, but very cost effective using very basic ingredients that you can pick up online or in Walmart, and absolutely amazing. So dryer sheets, get dryer balls. Lemongrass is fabulous, but you can use anything you want. You can use On Guard, you can use Melissa, you can use whatever. But lemongrass is one of the least expensive oils that you can get, and you can put that on your dryer balls, and it's also insect repelling. So absolutely wonderful for that aspect, right? Degreaser. Your lemon essential oil is absolutely fabulous for a degreaser. I'll put like, a drop or two on my cleaning thing and put that on my range hood, right? Um, the On Guard cleaner. You can use the On Guard cleaner. You can use the lemon essential oil and the On Guard cleaner together. Absolutely fabulous. Then you have for wood polish. So I think everybody does, right? Remember Pledge, Lemon Fresh Pledge, that mom or grandma used to use that years ago. Well, you can just take some olive oil and some lemon essential oil and massage your dresser tops and your wood pieces of furniture with that. You're not going to use that on countertops or anything because you don't need the oil like that. You would use like your counter spray or whatever. But for your wood, to nourish your wood. Another thing you can use is abrovite, is absolutely wonderful for wood, very good for conditioning the wood, and it'll come up amazingly beautiful. If you want to get a little more complicated with it, you can get some beeswax pellets and melt them. Add a little bit of shea butter, okay? Just, I mean, it would be good enough to use on your own hands by the time you're done, right? So a little bit of shea butter and some olive oil, and add your lemon or your abrovite to that. And you'll make a really, really wonderful, nourishing wood polish. You've probably seen the commercials, and you see somebody dressed in Amish type attire, and they say, this has been passed down for decades, and this is how we do it. And that's the ingredients there. It's basically just beeswax, a little bit of coconut butter or shea butter or mango butter, some olive oil, and some lemon they'll usually use, but you could use abrovite. Abrovite is a little more expensive, but it's a little more conditioning to the wood. So really great. Why do we clean with essential oils? Well, they are natural. So you're not breathing those chemicals in. You're not putting them on your hand. So they're natural. They're actually really good for you. You're cleaning with On Guard. You're cleaning with these things. They benefit your body while you're working, right? While you're cleaning. So they're natural. They're safe. They're safe to use in the home. They're safe for your pets and your children or grandchildren. They are potent. They are powerful, and they are effective. So it's not like, well, I couldn't use something that was effective because I'm trying to be natural. That's not true. These are powerful and effective. So you don't have to feel like you're not cleaning as well because you're not using something toxic. Okay. Um, they're a great alternative to cleaning products that have dangerous toxins and chemicals. They offer very versatile options for cleaning. We have a wide variety of options, and they make the home clean and inviting. Okay. People walk in, they're like, oh, it smells so good in here. And it's calming, lifts the mood, actually makes cleaning more pleasant and fun because it does help to lift the mood. All right. They are antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial. So they're inexpensive because you only need a little bit to go a long way. As you know, with essential oils, we only use a few drops at a time, right? We don't use the whole bottle. So who cares that lemongrass costs $15 for a bottle this big? Because you're only using 10 drops, 20 drops most. And in a bottle of lemongrass, there's over 250 drops. So the essential oils are potent. They're versatile. You can use them on many different surfaces. They kill germs, they remove dirt, and they smell so good. So, of course, we need to use them appropriately, like anything else, right? So, because people say, well, are they safe? Well, they are very safe when you use them appropriately. A carrot can be very dangerous if you stick it in your ear. Okay, so seriously, whatever it is, use it appropriately as directed. Don't put essential oils into your ears. Don't put them into your eyes. Don't put them up your nose, and use the appropriate amounts. So essential oils are taken from plant parts, the roots, the stems, the leaves, and they're carefully curated to preserve the potent properties. So the way that they extract the oils from the plant is very, very important. In cheaper oils, they'll use solvents to get the very most amount of oil from the plant, but those solvents are then a contaminant and are not good for you and for your family and your home. So you want high quality oils because they're going to do a better job, and they're also not going to be contaminated. So let's say you're switching to something natural and you think, well, it's only for cleaning, so I don't need a quality oil for that. So you buy a low quality product that says essential oil on it. All right. So if you did that, a lot of times they're adulterated with synthetics. So you're basically just getting a different version of another synthetic product in a little tiny bottle, and you're not actually getting the essential oils you think you are. So stick with a tested, reliable source to get your oils. And in that way, we are able to use the defense mechanism of the plants to provide the cleaning and the purifying power. Um, like I said, only a little bit goes a long way. And so the chemical components that help our body are also the same chemical components that we're going to be harnessing to do this cleaning. Oh, and actually to keep in mind in the summer, while you're cleaning, sometimes ants can be a problem in the summer. These oils are also insect repelling.
Mhm.
And there's been big outbreaks of parasites in certain areas coming into the house by way of foods, lettuce, things like that. So when you're cleaning in the kitchen, if you're using some of those chemicals that are more toxic, they're not necessarily anti-parasitic, whereas many of the essential oils are anti-parasitic. So if you're cleaning with the essential oils and you're wiping things down, you're also helping to stop the spread of those dangerous microbes. So always make sure that if you're testing, if you're cleaning an area such as an antique hutch or something like that, test a small area first before you use your cleaner on there, just to make sure. You want safe storage. Keep your essential oils out of sunlight. Don't line them up along the windowsill. In fact, don't put them in a little box on the wall with sunlight coming into them, even if it's not direct sunlight. Okay, our essential oils should always be kept in the dark. And so your cleaning spray, if it's uh, you're going to have it in a glass bottle or you're going to have it in an appropriate bottle. When you're done using it, just put it under the sink, put it in the cabinet. Usually don't leave your cleaning products sitting out anyway, right? They are safe to use around the whole family. And